I'll give you. Sanskari Sex. Hello and welcome to another rapturous episode of Sanskari Sex, India ka favorite sex podcast. This episode is dedicated to the gaming freaks, the folks who love gaming and who live for the love of games, and also for those who are looking to charge their sex and relationship. Do you know there are particular games that have helped couples improve their chemistry? Yes, and I am not talking about playing Ludo or playing those kiddish relationship games. But I am talking about games that are specially designed to help people by making them play games. Sanskari Sex is in gaming mode. And you know those games that make you feel drained? You're playing them only when you're exhausted and you want to mindlessly kill people or make patrons or just dodge obstacles and keep running. ये games भी games हैं, लेकिन मैं कुछ ऐसी games बताने वाली हूँ जो कि आपके relationship को help करेंगी, आपको रोमांस के राज जानने में हेल्प करेंगी और आपकी वाइब को प्रो मैक्स बना देंगी. The first game is Fireboy Water Girl. Fireboy and Water Girl is a popular two-player game series developed by Oslo Albert. इसमें दो कैरेक्टर्स हैं जिनको कोऑपरेट करके गेम खेलनी है, राउंड्स पार करने हैं. इसमें एडवेंचर है और क्रिएटिव पजल्स और क्लेवर मैकेनिक्स भी हैं. गेम खेलने से लोगों ने बताया कि उनकी रिलेशनशिप एक्चुअली में इंप्रूव हुई. कुछ ने ये भी बताया कि एक दूसरे पे चिल्ला चिल्ला के उनका गला भी बैठ गया. अबे वहां से कूदना, अबे फिर मर गया यार, साले अंधा है क्या? जूली की स्कर्ट तुझे बड़े आराम से दिख गई है, ऑब्स्टिकल नहीं दिख पाया तुझे वो. ये भी हो सकता है कि सुधरने की जगह पुराने राज निकलकर सामने आ जाएं. बट हे, एंड में स्क्रीन पे विक्ट्री लिखा आता है. आई नो इट इज नॉट सो फैसिनेटिंग, लेकिन खेल के देखो, हो सकता है यू बोथ माइट जस्ट लाइक इट. द सेकंड गेम इज इट टेक्स टू. दिस वन इज अ ग्रेट वे टू स्पेंड योर इवनिंग्स, खासकर जब आप घर पर हो और मॉल जाके पक गए हो. फॉर अ चेंज, प्ले दिस गेम. इसमें पजल्स हैं. बिना अपने पार्टनर को अंडरमाइन किए या उनकी बुराई किए ये गेम खेल के देखो. आई नो टफ है, बट दैट्स व्हाट द चैलेंज इज. Puzzles सॉल्व करने के लिए you will need to have a constant back and forth with your partner, so please don't get into a fight. It's also just a good experience to be able to share with a loved one and can be a place of comfort to go back to when things are rough. You know वो जो awkward silence आ जाते हैं, sometimes when you don't want to accept your mistake or say sorry, है ना, बात नहीं हो रही है, शुरू कैसे करें, फिर समझ नहीं आ रहा है कि अब बात करें कैसे, you know, ये हवा जो है कोल्ड एयर की काटे कैसे. उस गिल्ट का परफेक्ट इलाज है ये गेम. It takes two. The game also tries to give relationship advice at times, but that's ignorable. Also, this game is not only for struggling couples. This could be a good game date option. Probably cheaper than most date plans and a great way to introduce your partner to gaming. Must play for couples who want to get into the hobby. Third game. Well, third game तक जाने से पहले, let me invite the guy who has given me all the dope on all the gaming and especially the co-op gaming that I've been now showing you off. This is Pranav. Hi Pranav, welcome to the show.
Hi Swati, thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's a pleasure, yeah. मैं तो वेट कर रही हूँ, तो अपना खजाने में से खोल और गेम्स दे. Only two games, but both of them, especially It Takes Two. I think that one I'm going to try.
Yeah, it's funny story actually. How I found out about that game was I was playing with some American friends. There's a game called Overwatch. It's a competitive game. And they're in a relationship, but one of them, the boyfriend, he came up to me. He said, man, I've been struggling. We keep going at each other's throat, yelling at each other. You know, we get heated when we're playing this game. I don't know what to do. And I said, first stop playing a competitive game.
With your partner.
Yeah. Stop getting into stressful situations and maybe try something a bit more relaxing. So I was just looking up games for him and I saw this game.
Okay.
And it's made by, I think, a relatively indie studio. But yeah, no.
So you actually researched a game for your friends. That's like next level of giving couples advice to your friends, man. This is you've got to be a gaming nerd like Pranav, obviously, to do that.
I love recommending games and I love getting them into it. So,
so cool. But have you donned up this role of giving relationship advice through gaming to your friends? Do you think you could take up that role?
Relationship advice? I mean, first, if I accrue enough experience, maybe. But In terms of gaming, yeah, I can give a bunch of gaming advice, stuff to do, games to play, things like that. Speaking of games to play, there's another game that I actually came into mind when you were talking
Oh no,
about It
let's
Takes Two.
complete the story about the American friend. So when you recommended the game to your American friend who was having trouble with his girl, did it help? Did they play? It
Oh
Takes
yeah,
Two?
no, it helped. They stopped playing for like about a week. They went no contact, so I assumed either the worst happened or the best happened. Let's see. And then yeah, a week later, the boyfriend messaged me. He said, "Hey, thank you so much."
Oh
And I'm
wow.
like,
This works, guys. This works.
it works. No, they told me that they were basically playing it almost every day, every
nice.
evenings. It was just a great way to spend time. Even if don't have anything to talk about, it's great to just have a game in front of you that you can play.
Correct. I mean, there's only as much as you can talk or gossip about, right? And there are times when you just want to be silent with each other's company. But if you can get a hobby that you both enjoy together, I think that just cements the bond between the two people even more.
Exactly, right. It also works great for like long distance relationships because like,
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
need to sit next to each other to play the game, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so if you're struggling with that, hey, try gaming. So
Yeah, I mean, though I would suggest other things also along with gaming when you're a long distance. I mean, there's a screen, dial that, use the audios. But yeah, I mean, there are only as many times you can go at it also. I think gaming is great.
yeah, this is a sort of break between all the commotion,
Correct.
So, speaking of games that you can play together that sort of help build that trust, that communication, there's another game called Portal 2. It was released in 2011. It's pretty old, so it can run on like almost any kind of system. And it's more of a puzzle game, bit shorter than It Takes Two, but I think you'd actually spend more time in it because it involves a lot of communication, a lot of thinking, a lot of going back and forth with your partner again. But I think it's also a great way of understanding how you yourself as well as your partner go about problem solving because how you see things from different perspectives and the fact that you have to share those perspectives in a way that is understood by someone else. Also a very low stakes environment. It's very goofy, very funny. So it keeps the mood very lighthearted.
That's very important because what happens is, in spite of the fact that I love this other person that I'm playing the game with, right? And I probably want to spend my life with that person, and I'm like, mere babu ne khana khaya types nahi. But the minute it comes to competition, like doing like running for it's like running for the president. Like I can do better than you. There's always this thing between the two partners also. It's as simple as like, I could have done this job better than you, right? Oh, you don't even know how to put the bed sheet on. There are constantly things we're nagging our partners about. I think it's sort of like a scary arena to enter into a gaming hobby with your partner, which makes you fight for the victory title, I believe. So do you suggest going in for that competitive games, or do you suggest the kind of games that you're suggesting are better for the relationship, like problem solving, where you consult each other, lovey-dovey, and mellow games, where the passions and the inner general soldier in you doesn't waken up?
I mean, I think it also it depends on the type of relationship that you have. But I think if you are sort of depending on each other for support, you definitely want a more quiet, chilled out environment. If you want to be the type of person that sort of pushes the other to being a better version of themselves, then yeah, sure, maybe a competitive game might be better. Then of course you have your classic Valorants and CSGOs, but I think everybody already knows about them.
Oh no, someone like me, no. Like, if I find a guy who, so I've not dated anybody who's been like a gaming freak or like a gaming nerd, right? And because I always thought like that's a different world. I will never have anything in common to have a communication or, conversation with that person about, because that's not my universe.
Right.
So by default, I'll not know how to start a conversation with that kind of a guy, right? But if that kind of a guy finds something interesting in me and comes to strike a conversation, I also feel at the same time that I'll not be able to add anything more to the conversation. So in my mind, I don't see my universe colliding with a gaming freak. How do gamers get women? I mean, I don't know. Till the time the women is into gaming, or eventually it leads to problems in the relationship. I believe so.
I mean, it depends, because I mean, for some people, yes, they have described the relationships as getting into problems because one of the partners is too much into gaming. Because it, of course, takes time away and like...
And also, this other person does not understand what is it that, probably attracts or is motivating or inspiring to that particular person about this whole gaming universe, right? I mean, that's great. I like it. I like hearing about games and all from you. But don't expect me to come out and hang out with your friends every weekend. Like, not every Saturday I want to spend playing games.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the good part about games is that you don't need to do that. The game's not like a sport where it's like you need a full-on team and you need to organize events. You can just boot it up at night. You can chill by yourself. You can chill by your partner. You can chill with your partner and a bunch of friends. There are multiple games for all those
I'm
options.
increasingly liking this explanation and this description. I think I might just go out, look for a gamer.
Well, I mean, that has its own set of complications. I won't say too much right now, but if you're a gamer, you know. Okay, so I think, have a list of games that I know there are some people who are so absolutely confident in their relationship, who think that, okay, you know, there's absolutely nothing that could set us apart. We will
Nothing's
never
gonna
get,
change my love for you.
yeah, you know, never get angry at each other types.
Yeah.
And for them, if you really want to test the limits of your relationship, I have 2 games.
Oh my
Alright.
god, I can't wait to hear. ये तो मुझे सुनना है because है मेरी एक ऐसी सहेली. We are all there and we are just whatever gossiping about our guys and they're like, तूने कुछ नहीं बोला यार इतनी देर से क्या बात है तमन्ना? Like, you know, is Ishan like really that good? Yeah, he's very sweet and all. I'm like, that's not possible. Like, you guys never have a tiff. You have nothing to share, nothing to add to this conversation. I get very like,
I personally believe that a couple that never has a tiff has probably also never properly spoken with each other. But that's just my opinion.
no, that's correct opinion.
But yeah, if you actually want to test the limits of your
Yeah,
friendship, Overcooked 2 and Battle Block Theater, both of these games are basically, if I were to describe them in like 2 words, it is coordination and stress.
अरे बाप रे.
You have to manage a stressful environment where in Overcooked 2 you have to constantly attend to people's orders and manage ingredients and dishes and things like that. If you've ever seen an actual kitchen environment and how everyone's running around
Yeah.
trying to prepare ingredients for
Hell's
the other
Kitchen,
person,
yeah.
that's pretty much that, but in a game.
Okay.
And
Oh
so,
my god, I can only imagine the fights right now in my head, the scenarios that I'm cooking up
exactly.
right
You
now.
didn't prepare the damn
Oh.
tomatoes properly, or like, damn, where are the onions, or where's the spaghetti, things like that.
प्रणव ये तो असली लाइफ तू गेमिंग में लेके जा रहा है यार ये तो असली में होता है घर में.
Actually.
You didn't do the dishes. Oh my god, I thought you were doing it. It's not my turn. You were supposed to take care of the laundry.
Exactly. And then there's Battle Block Theater where you're supposed to go over like obstacles and climb over each other and help each other up. Have you seen Takeshi's Castle?
Oh yeah.
Imagine that, but in a video game.
Oh wow. Oh that's okay. What's the name of the game again?
Battle Block Theater.
Wow, that's interesting.
So there's that. And both of those games have like certain time limits and you have to perform well in those time limits. So there's a constant sense of stress. You have to, of course, you have to be fast, but you also have to remember to be patient and be able to communicate well
You know
with
what's
your
coming into
partner.
my mind? I'm thinking I should get my friends who probably are in the zone of liking each other, and before I set up the match, I should get them to play this game, and then at the end, be the judge that I don't think you should be entering the relationship, or you're my go ahead because you perform very well on the game. Do you think in future, not in just future, but like in the present future, we could use games as benchmarks to decide whether this relationship is going to work or not? I mean, of course, it's a far-fetched idea, but still, like one of the yardsticks to measure the success of a relationship.
I think personally, games can be used as tools for a lot of things, perhaps even relationships. But I would also think that the idea of a relationship and companionship with another person is a bit too complicated for a single game to sort of encompass. So, or just like even a single event, like you need to really understand what it means to spend time with each other and get into different situations, different events, see exactly how well you work
No,
together.
correct. I'm not talking about getting into marriage because of a game. I'm just thinking about a short-term fling relationship. Whether I want to invest my next 6 months in this relationship or not. Probably like a game could be, yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think if you play games well together, you'd probably have an easier time living with each other as well, in my personal opinion.
Correct. That's what I'm trying to understand because I'm somebody who doesn't play game, but I believe this could be one of the safe spaces for me to sort of like meet, hang out, and understand whether this is something that I want or this is something we two could do. You know, probably.
Yeah, I think it's a great litmus test. And also, I think most guys nowadays are into gaming. So if you like sort of show this, like, hey, you know, you want to play a game with me, just sort of like that, give an invitation, people immediately get interested. Most guys get interested. So,
Super.
yeah. I think
Girls,
it's a
that
good
could be one conversation starter. Yeah.
That is definitely a conversation starter.
And of course, the rest is up to you. It's your playing arena. You can get the games to change any minute you want. Okay, so we got 2 games, the good ones to test a relationship, how strong it is. Any more recommendations or suggestions you have for us? You've got 4 good games from you now. So It Takes Two. Then we had Fireboy Water Girl, and then we had Overcooked 2.
Overcooked 2, Battle Block Theatre, and I also mentioned Portal 2,
yes,
which is
Portal
very
2.
similar to It Takes Two and Fireboy and Water
A lot
Girl
of
as
games.
well. A lot of games. I don't want to recommend any more. I can think of many games off the top of my head, but I think those are more for single guys. If you are a single gamer, then you know which games I'm talking about.
Nahi chahiye. Relationship, Sanskari, sex, it takes two to tango. We are not talking about only individual isolation self-pleasure. We want both the people to come together, whoever you two people are, and enjoy this. Thank you so much, Pranav. Alright, I think we have our fill of all the gaming dope, and you people, don't worry, dobara rewind karke sunne ki zarurat nahi hai. I'm going to mention all the games that we have listed, we've spoken about in the podcast description, and you guys can give it a try and let me know. You know where to come. SwatCat86 is my Insta handle. Otherwise, we have a dedicated Red FM podcast handle by the name of @RedFM Podcast. DM karo, nahi to email karo, and catch you in the next episode of Sanskari Sex. You were listening to Red Podcast Sanskari Sex. Written by Dhruv Law. Audio design by Ayush Mehra. Creative direction by Dhruv Law. Send your feedback and suggestions. Write to us at podcast@redfm.in.